Bass Radio Show, what's going on? It's your boy Urban Live right here at the Bass Radio Show. We get close and personal, intimate, real intimate here on the Bass Radio Show. What's going on? Happy Wednesday. Big ups to all my island brethren. What's up? Big ups to you. Yes, and all around the world. Whether you're on Facebook, SoundCloud, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever it is that you're on. And you can YouTube, that's right. And we can be reached, and you can reach us. Check us out. Be sure to check us out every day. We're going to drop a little something on you every day, okay? All right, we're going to get into it. We're going to get started, but I want to hit you with a little bit of this reggae before we get started, all right? So peace and love. It's the 10 o'clock. Well, yes, the 10 o'clock hour right here. The Bass Radio Show. We're going for the next 15 minutes, all right, here on the Bass Radio Show. Just want to get you a little knowledge in your system before you get out there, all right? Peace. See you back after this track right here on the Bass Radio Show.
Something different about the way you behave, you've changed. Or maybe I'm just hallucinating, you've changed. I don't know what's going on, but you've changed. Oh, na 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 na. So in love, sure in love, soaring in the love, and now she's flying like. Spectators and look, she got the sparkling kind of love, so naturally. And now she's up my mind, she got spectators and look, she got the groovy kind of love, so naturally. This woman is in love with another man. This is every child, but I'm a good, you're my number one. Not because I see you on the TV, not because I love the songs on your CDs. She said, boy, I love your mood, you know I love your style. Every time I think about you, make me smile. She said, Rastaman, I see you as my soulmate. Everything about you is so great. So in love, or surely in the love, soaring in the love. And now she's flying like the wind. And while she's so in the love,
Live 107, the Bass Radio Show. What's going on? The Bass Radio Show. Well, it's time to get into our little conversation. This is where I can talk to you more than intellectual radio, Bass Radio Show. So these are conversations that I cannot have on regular FM radio. So just want to just let you know. So if you want to hear just like the real knowledge, the real truth, then you're gonna have to go to the app. You're gonna have to hit us on the app and check us out on different platforms there. So if you want to hear the more intimate conversation, then you go there and you can check this out. Otherwise, I tried doing this on regular FM radio, and it was a disaster because Caucasian people immediately didn't agree, and that's exactly what I knew they wouldn't agree, because you're never going to agree to somebody that's letting you know who you are and where your money came from, and just basically putting out the truth, because you have some races of people that just want to live under a lie and make sure everybody lives under a lie because they just a liar within themselves. So let's go ahead and get right down to this word here. Let's get down into the ingredients of this. And had this nice conversation here. I'm just going to pop this music so low that you can't even hear it. So Live 107, the Bass Radio Show. Be sure to get out there and get the app. You can get the app there on Google Play Store. You get the app. Go ahead and get the app there on Google Play Store. The Bass Radio Show. It's exactly just the way I said it. It's The Bass Radio Show on Google Play Store. And you be in, man. You'll be in. You know, check it out. Check it out. All right. So let's go into it. Now, I'm going from the King James Bible. Actually, this is the New American Standard. Written from the King James. So it's the same thing. It just don't have the thuses, the thous, and all that. So it's basically the King James Bible with just modern day English. So, and we ain't going to talk about who King James is and blah, blah. That's another story. And I got the answers for you on that day, and that'd be a whole different talk, and that's a whole different subject. You know, I'm not going to that would just be such a general conversation if we just did that. So, no, I'm not doing that. All right, so it says so let me go, let's get us all on the same page, literally. All right, so you're going to have to go to Deuteronomy 28. You're going to have to go to Deuteronomy 28. It's spelled D-E-U-T-E-R-O-R, let me start again. D-E-U-T-E-R-O-N-O-M-Y. Deuteronomy. D-E-U-T-E-R-O-N-O-M-Y. Deuteronomy verse, in case you just didn't know that, verse 47. So that's Deuteronomy 28, chapter 28, verse 47. And that will put us on the same page together. So verse 47, Deuteronomy 28, verse 47. And now we're all on the same page. Literally. Okay. So it says, because you did not serve the Lord your God with joy and a glad heart for the abundance of all things. So before we even go beyond this verse, this is 47. Before we even go to 48, where it starts with therefore, let's get clear to who he's talking to. Now, we know this is the Old Testament, right? And the first 5 books of the Old Testament is called the Pentateuch, which is the book of the law, and they were written by Moses. Okay, so we know this is part of a law book here. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. So this is part of a law book. Okay, and it's written by Moses. Okay, and it's speaking to a nation of people, a group of people. It says, because you did not serve the Lord your God with joy. So he's not talking about everyone serving this one particular God. He's talking about one God and you serving this one God. And because you did not serve this one God with joy and a glad heart for the abundance of all things, Therefore, you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord will send against you. Now, we ain't going to go beyond that. We want to hold that right there. So the Lord is saying, because you didn't serve me with gladness and joy of heart, and because you loved me, I'm going to send your enemies against you because you didn't serve me with a joyful heart. Basically, the Lord is saying what it is, look, I gave you all this and that. I gave you things. I gave you abundance, and you took me for granted. That's what's being said. He's saying that you took me for granted. So taking me for granted is the wrong idea. That's the wrong thing. See, you made a mistake. You took me for granted. Now you're going to serve your enemies. So you had it good, but now look at you. You're going to serve your enemies. So let's keep reading. They say, therefore, you shall serve your enemies, whom the Lord shall send against you in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, and in a lack of all things. And he will put an iron yoke on your neck until he has destroyed you. Wow. Now, this is the same Lord that was obviously blessing these people. And now that he says that you don't want to serve me with joy and a glad heart, I'm going to send your your enemies against you, your enemies against you. And in hunger and thirst and nakedness, I'm even it says right here, will put an iron yoke on your neck until he has destroyed you. So the Lord is saying that, look, I'm going to put this iron yoke on your neck. I'm going to take you into captivity. I'm going to allow you to be ripped and destroyed. All because you didn't serve me with a glad heart. All because you didn't respect me. All because you took me for granted. All because you didn't realize who I was to you and to your people. So therefore, I'm going to be worse on you than any nation in this world. And not only worse, I'm going to let everybody in this world see how I've stepped on you. Now, because I'm keeping this under 15 minutes. I'm keeping this under 15 minutes. So I don't want to go too far out and still keep it under 15 minutes unless it's a part 2, which is there to be a part 2 and a 3 and a 4 if we're going to go that direction. So the Lord is saying, because you didn't serve me right, you didn't serve me correctly, these are some of the things that's going to happen to you. Now, you know what? I feel that we need to go into a song. And then we're going to come back. Yes, brethren. We're going to go into a song and we'll come back right after that track and continue on. You might want to turn. You might want to turn. It's only one thing. There's no other. That's why she can't get over me. That's why she can't get over me. Over me. It's only one thing. They just wanna be. That's why she can't get over me. That's why she can't get over me. Over me. I know we should know better, baby, but there's no one else to compare. Love is not love if I'm not there. Something tastes like there. Months feel like years. Months feel like years. Now she'll travel 1,000 miles just for my love. No sleep at night till she want my love, want my love. She know the body, she know the movie, she know the station, just to see me. The Bass Radio Show. Back again to the Bass Radio Show. What's happening, babies? What's happening, people? What's going on? Okay, back again. We're back at you. So now let's continue on. Deuteronomy 28, verse 47. And 48, we're at the end of 48. Now we're into 49, verse 49 here. Okay, so verse 49, let's and we're going to just take it down to like 50, 51, something like that. And that's going to conclude this 15 minutes. So, but I want you to understand where we at with this real quick here. So let's just get this straight, and then we're going to be part 2, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. So it says, the Lord will bring a nation against you. Go to 47 if you missed it. So the Lord will bring a nation against you from afar, from the ends of the earth. As the eagle swoop down, a nation whose language you shall not understand. A nation of fierce continents, who will have no respect for the old, nor shall favor the young. Let me hold right there. Let's just hold that point right there. Let me just hold that point. We're talking about a nation of people God said he's going to sin against you, sin against his people. And these people are going to be a people of a face that has a fierce countenance. Meaning that these people are not, first of all, they're not God's people. Okay, so because he would have indicated that. So these are not God's people. So, and these people are hard people. They're hardened people. And let me tell you about these people, first of all. And I'm not going to go deep with that. If we're talking about Caucasian people, they're the number one first slaves of the world. All Caucasians are the original slaves. The word slave comes from Slavic, meaning the word slave is just a colloquialism of the word Slavic. Slavic people, the northern Russia, southern Russia, North Georgia, Eastern Europe, Western Europe. That's where all the Slavic people come from. So Caucasian people were taken. See, I don't want to go there because I'm going to get out of the 15 minutes. So I don't want to go there. But the man started in Africa. Caucasian people were kicked out of Africa. First, they were taken in as slaves because they were so weak. But then they began to spread diseases because the women were used as sex slaves. And they began to have diseases that they couldn't get out their system, and they were beating their men, and their men couldn't work. They couldn't keep up the pace. They couldn't keep straight. So what they felt is the women are spreading diseases and the men are worthless. So they got tired of Caucasian people being slaves in Africa because of their weakness, and they couldn't endure the sun. They couldn't endure anything. So they were kicked out of Africa into Europe. Europe was nothing but a dumping pit. It was dark, it was dingy, it was murky, it was cold, it was nothing beautiful. And if you do your history, you'll find out that was the Dark Ages. And it was disease ridden, it was cold, it was hard to get rid of anything because it stayed damp, it stayed moist, it stayed well, you couldn't get rid of a disease. It just wasn't enough heat in the land at that time. It was colder than what it is now. See, what we have now is we have global warming. This is the end of November and it's still 70, 80 degrees to let you know the difference in time. Then it was so cold in Europe that couldn't nobody survive, really. So we just dumped Caucasian people there. They're the original slaves. The word slave comes from the word Slavic, slave. Their name is actually... The Slavic people actually bear the name of slave is where it came from. So God didn't have his people as original slaves. Caucasians were the original slaves. So when you see Caucasian people, just think slave. Think original slave. See, because they think we are slaves, but they don't do history. They don't study. They don't have books. They don't have wisdom. They don't have certain knowledge. Let me give you one more point just to add to that. Even documented in the United States in 1865, all the way through the 18s and the 17s and the 18s up to the 1900s, right at the start of 19. Caucasian people are considered illiterate, ignorant. They said over 2/3 of the South had no education. They were ignorant. They were illiterate. They had no education. This is documented by the American government. Do your research. Do your own due diligence. Don't get mad off something that you're not going to study to find out. It serves you no purpose to get mad if you're not going to investigate it for yourself. When you see it for yourself, then go ahead and make the argument. Send me a comment, say F me, forget it, let's whatever. But do your own due diligence to see if what I'm saying is true or not. Then get mad, okay? Or have something to say. Otherwise, I'm right 100%. And I have the books. I have all the documentation that I need to show you. I've already compiled it on DVDs. I've already put it out there in so many ways that you can have it. And I'm here this is not even the point. The point was Caucasian people are original slaves. The word slave comes from the word Slavic, meaning Like the Michael Jordan. Look at he about to do that Michael Jordan. Okay, he a slave. So when you see slave, think white, don't think black, think white. He gonna do that Michael Jordan switch. Don't think white. Don't think black, think white. When you hear the word slave, never think black, think white. Okay? So always look at them with the eye of saying they are the original slaves, only strictly for the fact that they were so weak in a black society that they couldn't be nothing else but a slave, and they wasn't needed for nothing else but just as a sex slave or mediocre work, because the men did have no strength or power and they couldn't endure the sun, and they were all kicked out. So while we were fighting each other, and a lot of genocide going on within Africa, within Egypt, within Ethiopia, these two major countries on the east side of Africa here. While that was going on, the Caucasian people over in North Georgia, between the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea, over in northern Georgia, begin to mount up. They begin to build armies. They begin to work with weaponry. They had nothing else to do but just work on trying to fight. So while we were building civilizations and libraries and studying and moving forward, and the Egyptians are the ones that created mathematics and taught us, the Hebrews, how to do mathematics, and then they shared the mathematics with the Europeans. So mathematics come from a black man, which is the Egyptians. So, all right. So anyway, let me get back to the subject. All right, let me get back to the subject because it's so much info to give you, man. We could be here for hours, man, and I got to go. So it says that in verse 40, where we at? We're in verse 50. A nation of fierce continents will have no respect for the old, nor shall they favor the young. Now, we know in Florida it's documented that they were using our little babies, our little kids as gator bait. You mean to tell me they would take our kids and put them in cages just to catch alligators? And guess what? They would get in the cages and snatch the babies out and eat them. Guess what? Lou Tyrone wasn't coming back home. He ate. And he gonna be for profit for them old Yankee white, them redneck crackers, and so they making gator belts. We know none of them piss ants out there wasn't rocking gator boots like us brothers rock them. So we know them piss ants were making, whatever, because we know Caucasian people don't have style to begin with. Now, if you think I'm a racist, there's no way I could be a racist. There's no way I could be a racist, because you got to be in some great authority to be a racist, to hand that shit down. You understand what I'm saying? So when I become a racist, then I'll be sure to teach it to others and be sure to make sure that that thing is perpetuated forward and that they hate white folk if I'm a racist. So no, I'm not teaching hate. I'm only teaching truth. Okay? You would be mad too if they took your babies. You wouldn't rest if they took your little babies and fed them to the alligators and used them as gator bait, which is documented by the United States. I ain't saying nothing that ain't documented by the United States. This is all documented. So, back to the point here. They don't have no respect for your young nor your old. So we kind of got clearly who we talking about, right? We know we talking about some racist, redneck, Caucasian people, right? We know who we talking about, right? We got clearly to who we talking about, right? Okay. And we got clearly to whose babies that they were taking. I was in the 7th grade. Father's a pastor with the Royal Rangers. Wanting to do good. Wanting to do good for society. Right? Yeah. Wanting to do good for society. I seen a little bike sitting on the curb. It was me and my two buddies. We walking from school, 7th grade, school over in the city I grew up in. And I seen the bike on the curb. I said, hey, let's take and give this bike to whoever it belongs to so that they don't get their bike ran over in the streets. And so we grabbed the bike. We went to the door, the door that it was in front of, knocked on the door. Excuse me, sir. We seen this bike sitting right here, and we want to make sure that you get your bike back. He said, no, young man, that's not my bike. No, I don't know anything about it. I said, okay, sir. So we went to the next door, knocked on the next door, and asked everybody in that whole neighborhood, on that whole block, whose bike, and tried to give the bike back. At the end of the block, we're about to cross the street, go to the gas station because they had a flat, and put some air in it. Now, we little kids, we 7th graders. I don't know what's the age of a 7th grader, 12, 13, I don't know. I can't remember. Whatever that is, we didn't have no plans. Me personally, I had a brand new bike. My father always had money, always knew money. I never knew nothing but had seeing new cars, houses, and money. So I always knew I don't give a shit about no little fucking bike. I got a brand new bike. This is a little piece of shit bike. So the cops pull up, says to my two buddies, now I got my hand on the seat. I think maybe on the handlebar, maybe, I don't know, man. My hands are on the bike. It's all me. He tell them two to go ahead and go. They put me in the car. Guess what? They take me to jail. For what? Grand theft. No, not auto. Grand theft. They said the bike was over $500. I don't give a fuck if the bike was over $1 million. I didn't steal the bike. I wasn't trying to steal the bike. The bike was laying on the ground, and we were trying to give the bike back. We tried to tell the cop, hey, we just trying to get the bike back. We going over to the gas station to put some air in it and continue. He said, when we found out it was the police bike, see, my father, he wasn't playing that shit. He like, what's going on? My son got a brand new bike. What the fuck going on? Hey, what's going on here? Son got a brand new bike. He ain't stealing no bike. They like, well, nah, he stole his bike. See, that was what they was trying to give him. I told my father, he said, let me speak to you, speak to my son. He spoke to, actually, they got me out, your parents come get you out of jail, It was like, what the fuck going on? He went himself door to door and found out. He said, what kind of shit? You trying to get a bike back and you telling the police, and these motherfuckers don't even want to hear that. And guess what? They watched me do this. They watched us go house to house trying to give it back. So the game is this. The game is to give every young black boy it never got in my record. I don't have no record to this day. It never got to my record, but they was trying to give me a felony, grand theft, as a 7th grader, not even had did anything wrong. No, your black ass is going to have a felony for doing the right thing, because it's under the fucking guise of the president that every black man that's a Hebrew will have a felony, that he can never be the fucking president, that his life will be always under some fucking, he won't even know it. So if you didn't have a black father or a strong black mother to go in there to defend you, you're just going to have a fucking felony on your record. That's it. Nobody to fight for you, none of that shit. So if they couldn't get your ass in slavery, and that fucked up group missed, then they had another group that's going to get young black men that don't care about the old or the young. And that's what we got going on today. Now, last point, because I'm past my 15 minutes. I'm into my 30. The Mexicans, we got a shithead piece of shit of a president. I'm a Republican. We got a piece of shit of a president. And fuck you, Trump, motherfucker. I said it. And I'm already on all platforms, bitch. So, we got a president, and bring the motherfuckers to come and see me. I'm right here. I ain't going no fucking place. Bring them to come and see me. I'm with the fucking Illuminati, if you want to know, motherfucker. So bring them. And thank you for spending $100 fucking grand to teach me how to kill motherfuckers, because I'm the shooter, will always be the shooter. You think I'm going to go and get a pussy motherfucker down and watch to do some shit that he ain't got no fucking training? I got the fucking training. I'm going to bear the pistol. I'm going to kill that white motherfucker myself. So, and this is all going on radio. Don't give a fuck. So now, back to the point. So we have If you're Mexican and your ass evade the police, your ass got 6 hours to get your ass out the car. Because they got a personal mandate from the goddamn president to light your ass up. No, they not lighting black folks up no more. But if your ass is Mexican, they don't give a fuck about you. You getting shot down in your car. You better get the fuck out. I'm trying to help all you Mexican motherfuckers. If you are Mexican and you evade the police, you do something wrong, they don't have to ask no fucking questions. They got full permission to light every fucking Hispanic ass up. Every male. Light his ass up without no remedy. Gun that motherfucker down. Through all police departments all over this fucking country. I'm warning you motherfuckers. Listen, get your ass out the car and don't run from the police. Because they're going to kill your ass without no fucking reservation. Now, they was doing us that way, the shit stopped. We had some inside shit, some inside meetings. Now these motherfuckers ain't fucking with us like that. They light these fucking Mexicans up. Now, I ain't going to even go back to this Bible again. We done with that. So now, I got a secret message that I'm telling all you crusading motherfuckers out there that's talking about this Jewish faith. Keep spreading the word about these Jews being Caucasian and white. If you bring your ass to LA, I'm the shooter, motherfucker. Keep talking that shit. Keep saying that shit. And you ain't gonna be able to say that shit no more. Period. Y'all know who I am, and I ain't fucking with y'all. I'm gonna get on out of here. This is Urban Live. All day. Peace. Y'all be blessed. Catch the podcast tomorrow. We got some great shit for y'all. All right? Y'all be blessed. Let's go back and some more tracks, and I'll see y'all on tomorrow. Yeah.
Say